نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ تقول للذي أنعم الله عليه وأنعمت عليه أمسك عليك زوجك واتق الله وتخفي في نفسك ما الله مبديه وتخشى الناس والله أحق أن تخشى فلما قضى زيد منها وطرا زوجناكها لكي لا يكون على المؤمنين حرج في أزواج أدعيائهم إذا قضوا منهن وطرا وكان أمر الله مفعولا ما كان على النبي من حرج فيما فرض الله له سنة الله في الذين خلوا من قبل وكان أمر الله قدرا مقدورا الذين يبلغون رسالات الله ويخشونه ولا يخشون أحدا إلا الله وكفى بالله حسيبا. Respectful honorable friends, the verses that have been recited, these verses were recited in last week's tafsir. However, due to time restraints, we suffice on just the previous verse itself. And an introduction to this verse had already been made in the previous verse. In the previous verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَن يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ وَمَنْ يَعْصِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا مُبِينًا. That it is not proper for any mu'min man or woman to exercise any choice in their affairs when Allah and His Messenger has decided a matter. With regards to the purpose of why this verse was revealed, one of the incidents mentioned was with regards to Sayyidina Julaybi. The other was with regards to Sayyidina Zainab bint Jahash radiyallahu ta'ala anha. And that is regarding what the following verse, the next verse, is revealed for. As was mentioned last week as well as previously, one of the customs of the days of Jahiliyyah was that if somebody had adopted a child, then that child would be ascribed to the adopted father. So for instance, here Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha radiyallahu ta'ala, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had adopted him, so he was known as Zayd bin Muhammad. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rectified this and no, the adopted son should not be attributed towards the adopted father, it should be just the adopting father, it should be just the original, the actual blood father. So this was one custom of Jahiliyyah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eradicated. Now what had happened is that Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam had Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha married to his paternal cousin Sayyidina Zainab bint Jahash. Initially Sayyidina Zainab bint Jahash and her brother Abdullah bin Jahash, they declined this proposal on the basis that they were from the Quraysh and Sayyidina Zayd was a freed slave. So due to which they had declined the proposal. But then when the verse was revealed, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَن يَكُونَ لَهُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ, that's when then they accepted the proposal. So Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha, he got married to Sayyidina Zainab bint Jahash. However, their marriage didn't last too long because they could not adapt to one another. As there was a difference in their lineage as well. And one of the complaints that Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha would have is that Sayyidina Zainab radiallahu ta'ala anha would not honor and respect him due to the difference in status and lineage. This was one of the complaints that he had. In this way, their complaints would keep on coming to Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. After Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was a guide to mankind, so these type of issues would come to him, but along with it, the fact that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had them married and Sayyidina Zayd was the adopted son of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so their complaints would come to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would continue to reconcile between them. Now, what had then happened is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by means of wahi had already indicated to Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam the things between Zainab radiallahu ta'ala anha, Zainab bin Jahash and Sayyidina Zayd are not going to work out. And eventually Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha will divorce her and that she will come into the nikah of Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. So this was something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already revealed and indicated to Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam. However, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was hesitant. Hesitant why? As again, because there was that custom there that adopted son would be regarded to be the actual son itself, which would then mean what? That a person is getting married to his daughter-in-law or former ex-daughter-in-law. So because of this, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not disclose anything. And when Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu actually came to Mr. Muhammad on occasion, where he was now adamant that look, things have reached a stage where now he is willing to and he is ready to divorce Zainab bin Jahash radiallahu ta'ala. So even then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam advised him and said to him that no, keep hold of her. Keep hold of her and try and make things work out and not to divorce her. That's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse that has been just recited to you now. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala admonishes Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam that when he is aware of what the outcome is going to be, then still why does Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi sallam give such type of advice? But why Nabi sallallahu did? That we shall come to. Referring to the verse now, Allah Ta'ala says, وَإِذْ تَقُولُ لِلَّذِي أَنَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلِيهِ. And remember when is taqulu, you said, meaning referring to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to who? لِلَّذِي أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلِيهِ, to the one whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed His grace, وَأَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِ, and you, upon whom you have bestowed your grace. Referring to us in Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu ta'ala. And the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is how Allah ta'ala had given Zayd radiallahu ta'ala in Islam and brought him into the household of Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam. And the grace bestowed upon him by Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the fact that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam took him and adopted him, made his Tarbiyah, and Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam as well. First, before that, Nabi had freed him, he was a slave, Nabi freed him, adopted him, and due to which Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu ta'ala had great honor and respect in the eyes of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala as well. So Allah Ta'ala says, the one who Allah has bestowed grace upon and you have as well. So remember the time when he came to you, you said to him, Amsik alayka zawjaka. When you said to him, keep your wife, wattaqillah, and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning that the advice the Nabi gave, which was the general advice you give to somebody, that look, keep her, but fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why fear Allah ta'ala? Meaning that in maintaining marital ties, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because since Zayd radiallahu ta'ala had made his mind up that he's going to divorce, And now when he has made his mind up to divorce, and the fact that now he has to still keep her and things are not really working out, then things can get out of hand. So Nabi Kareem is saying, "Wattaqillah," that despite that, fear Allah Ta'ala and maintain the ties that should be there, as well as the hukuk, the rights between the husband and wife. Now, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is admonishing here Nabi Sallallahu by saying that this is the advice you gave to Sayyidina Zayd, but وَتُخْفِي فِي نَفْسِكَ, but whilst doing that, you concealed in your heart what Mallahu Mubdihi, what Allah Ta'ala was to disclose, means that which was to happen, that you would disclose, you concealed that. Why? Because وَتَخْشَى النَّاسِ, you feared the people. Whereas وَاللَّهُ أَحَقُّ أَن تَخْشَى, whereas Allah is more worthy of being feared. Now this refers towards the fact that Allah Ta'ala is saying to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that you knew the outcome, what is going to be, as that has already been mentioned to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But despite so meaning that you conceal that, you didn't disclose that. Why? Because وَتَخْشَى النَّاسِ, because of the fear of people. The fear of people here was that what they would say with regards to the marriage here. That they would say that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has married the wife of his adopted son, because they regard it to be his real son, whereas in reality it wasn't his real son. And here وَتَخْشَى النَّاسِ, this is not the fear that a person has with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Well, let us say, وَاللَّهُ أَحَقُّ أَن تَخْشَى, meaning the Anbiya ﷺ, they do not fear people when it comes to tabligh of deen. When it comes to the tabligh of deen, they have never feared, they don't fear anybody at all. And here with regards to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's matter here, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't regard this at that time to be a matter of tabligh of deen, but more of it being a personal matter of his. So for that reason, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam disliked that people should then taunt him with regard to this. Because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not regard it to be, deem it to be something that is necessary to do. So for that reason, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam disliked that people should taunt him. And with regards to the ruling itself, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had sufficed on the fact that Allah Ta'ala had already mentioned in Surah Ahzaab that those who are your adopted son is not your real son at all. So that has been clarified. So the ruling has already been clarified. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has not concealed that from the people out of fear of them, because that has already been mentioned to them. So Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's fear that he had was what? With regards to something which isn't to do with halal haram, and with regard to a matter which is not something which is imperative. And there are a few examples of this type, wherein a person, because of either what people would say, for instance, and this is also something to which where a person may forgo a certain haqq or right or something, which may not be wajib upon an individual, just because of what maybe others may say or others may think about an individual. Similarly, on one occasion when Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when the conquest of Makkah took place, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu ta'ala that if it wasn't a case of your people, referring to the Quraysh, that they were hadith al-sin or hadith al-ahd fil Islam, that they were still new in Islam, meaning the Quraysh were just coming to follow Islam. If it wasn't for that, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that he would rebuild the Kaaba according to how Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam had built the Kaaba. Meaning that he would change it and have it rebuilt the way it was built by Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Because the Quraysh, they had changed the manner in which it changed the Kaaba, the build of the Kaaba to what Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam had originally had built. The original Kaaba that Sayyidina Ibrahim had was till the Hatim, even beyond the Hatim. So the Hatim area was included in the actual cubic of the Kaaba. And along with that there were two doors on the east and the western side of the Kaaba. So the one door was for those to enter and the other was for exiting. And the door was very accessible to people as well. You could easily walk in and then exit from the other side. But what the Quraysh did is that they had, first of all, when it came to the time of rebuilding the Kaaba, because they didn't have enough halal, meaning pure wealth, they couldn't complete the entire build of it. So they had shortened it and left a certain amount, which was then just indicated with the bricks around it, which we call the hatim. So that area within the hatim is actually part of the Kaaba itself. So if a person is doing tawaf and they take a shortcut from there, the tawaf is incomplete. Although nowadays you won't be able to do that, you will get access in it. But if one was to do so, the tawaf would be incomplete. And then what they had done is that they had kept the eastern door and they shut and removed the western door. And also this eastern door that they had kept, which is the current door, but then they raised it and they elevated it. So that only those that to enter you need ladders, and that too would only be those who the Quraysh would give permission to. So general access to enter the Kaaba, that had been prevented. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam desired that he wanted that the Kaaba should be built as it was previously. But knowing that, look, the people are newly in the fold of Islam, and then they'll wonder that, look, they've taken over Makkah, they've conquered Makkah, and they've even now changed the Kaaba, and they've destroyed the Kaaba, and they're doing their own stuff, and the effect, the negative effect it would may have on them. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam just left it as it was. So there were various types of this ikhtiyar choices which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam had left. So here too Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had concealed this matter. Now here where Allah ta'ala says, وَتُخْفِي فِي نَفْسِكَ مَا اللَّهُ مُبْدِيهِ, refers just to this matter, that the consequence, what will occur between Sayyidina Zayd and Sayyidina Zainab bint Jahsh radiallahu ta'ala anha, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had foretold Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that is what Allah, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had concealed in his heart. So Allah ta'ala said that he shouldn't do so. Rather, instead of letting them get on with it and the divorce take place, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam rather gave the advice that no, keep hold of her. As Allah Ta'ala says that فَلَمَّا قَضَى زَيْدٌ مِنْهَا وَطَرًا وَزَوَّجْنَاكَهَا لِكَيْ لَا يَكُونَ لَلْمُؤْمِنِ حَرَجٌ فِي أَزْوَاجِ أَدْعِيَائِهِمْ إِذَا قَضَوْا مِنْهُنَّ وَطَرًا وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ مَفْعُولًا. Allah Ta'ala says, so when Zayd completed his need from her, meaning of marriage, minha wataran, need. So what happened? He then divorced her. So Allah Ta'ala says, لِكَيْ لَا يَكُونَ الْمُؤْمِنِ حَرَجٌ, so that there may be not be any restrictions فِي أَزْوَاجِ أَدْعِيَائِهِمْ, in marriage to such people, to the wives of your adopted sons. إِذَا قَضَوْا مِنْهُنَّ وَطَرًا, when they have fulfilled the need from them, meaning when they have been divorced. So Allah Ta'ala says that when Zayd completed his need from her and he divorced her, Allah Ta'ala says, we married her to you. Allah Ta'ala says, زَوَجْنَاكَهَا, that we married her to you. Why? So that people, so that there may not be any restriction on the mu'mineen with regard to marrying the wives of their adopted sons. When the adopted sons have divorced them, fulfilled the needs from them, meaning by divorcing them. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam dispelled all these previous notions of people who believe that adopted sons are like the real sons. And here Allah Ta'ala says that, look, zawajnakaha, we married her to you. We married her to you. Meaning that this was from what? From the decision and the choice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For this is Sayyidina Zainab radiallahu ta'ala, she would boast to the other Azwaj Mutahara, and she would even say to them, look, your marriage, your parents had got done, and my marriage, Allah ta'ala got done in the heavens. I mean that it was the choice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence, according to some Mufassirin, zawajnakaha means just the decision itself, and the other is that Allah Ta'ala had them married, meaning there was no need for any other nikah to take place. and that this itself was sufficient. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when this verse was revealed, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam then mentioned to Sayyidina Zayd, when Zayd came and said to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam that her iddat is finished, and that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to Sayyidina Zayd himself, that go and tell her that in this way, that I have what my stance is and my proposal to her. To which Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha mentioned that when I came to her, now that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam had proposed for her, I was overwhelmed with honor and awe for her, that I could not even look at her, and with my back turned from her, I mentioned to her the intention of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to which she said that first of all I should praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then after that, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, without asking permission to enter, Nabi sallallahu entered the home, because now she had become his wife. And that's when, after that, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam had told Anas radiallahu ta'ala, that start calling whoever's around, meaning for the walima. And the walima was meat itself, and bread was part of the walima of Sayyidina Zainab bin Jash radiallahu ta'ala. That we'll mention later in the Quran as well, of how Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told Anas, call those who are around. People came, they ate and left, they ate and left, but there were those who just remained seated there, and Nabi was waiting for them to depart from there as well. That is the same incident. The Sayyidina Zainab radiallahu ta'ala would boast with regard to this in this manner. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted that this myth, you can say, or this notion that people had, this should be dispelled by means of this nikah. Hence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already told Nabi Kareem, foretold Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam what would happen. وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ مَفْعُولًا. And Allah Ta'ala's command will always come to pass. Which indicates as well that wherever it is destined for a person to marry, that is where they will marry. وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ مَفْعُولًا. And whatever the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, that is going to happen. So wherever a person is destined to marry, there they will get married. And where any divorce takes place, that is also something that is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is destined. And here what Allah that destined was that the Zainab and Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha and Sayyidina Zainab bin Jash get married. Things do not work out between them, divorce takes place, and then the marriage of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam takes place. It is all what? It is all part of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and nothing can prevent it. That's why when it comes to marriage as well, this is a unique system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. That Allah Ta'ala from man himself has created their spouse for them. And how, where, nobody knows where they're going to get married, but when the time comes, it happens. And I mentioned this recently at the nikah as well, bayan, that a person is looking for somebody, they're looking for a girl, or a girl is looking for a boy. And the boy is looking where? He's looking right around him, in his vicinity, in his family. Can't find anybody, and he finds somebody totally distant, or somebody so far away from him. He didn't imagine or expect that, look, this is where I will be getting married. And some people get married overseas as well. So they get married overseas as well. They have an international wife. Now they are expecting that, look, we'll be getting married in this part of the world. And there are those who might even be looking for proposals where outside the family, and have that idea that they don't want to get married in the family at all. They're looking, they don't find anybody, and where do they get married? They get married within the family. Those who they didn't want to, or were not expecting to get married to, or in the family itself, but they do. And why? Because وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ مَفْعُولًا. That it was written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that would occur. And this does happen sometimes. It happens how? That a husband is married somewhere, the wife, she's married somewhere, things do not work out there, the wife gets divorced there, here the husband gets divorced here, and then they get to marry with one another. So the divorce here and the divorce there, it's all part of the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order for that union to take place. Further, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that مَا كَانَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ مِنْ حَرَجٍ فِيمَا فَرَضَ اللَّهُ لَهُ سُنَّةَ اللَّهِ فِي الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِنْ قَبْلُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ قَدْرًا مَقْدُورًا. that there is no sin on the Nabi with regards to that which Allah Ta'ala has ordained or that which Allah Ta'ala has made permissible for him. And here what Allah Ta'ala refers to in Fima Faradallahu La, meaning marrying more than 4 wives. Sunnat Allah. Such was the practice of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala on who fil ladhina khalaw min qabl, those who passed before. Meaning that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given permission to the Anbiya alayhi salatu salam. And Allah Ta'ala says that there is no sin on the Nabi with regard to this. That why would they want to get married more than 1 or twice or even 4 times? Allah Ta'ala says there is nothing, no sin in that at all, no harm in that whatsoever. Because there is great hikmah. And one of the hikmah of the Anbiya is their marriages is, first of all, the Anbiya alayhi salatu islam, they have been sent for what? They have been sent for tabligh of deen. They have been sent to propagate deen. And deen is not just that which is in the masjid. Deen is not just that which is found in prayer and ibadat. But deen is all around an individual. 24/7 there is deen, and such deen that needs to be witnessed. So a Nabi of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, for his 24/7 deen to be witnessed, people will need to be around them as well. But then they're going to have their private lives as well. So people cannot be around there. So for that reason they have wives, so that these wives can then do what? These wives will then make note of that life, that part of the life, which is not in, which is the private life, the domestic life, that life which the prophets spend in seclusion with their wives. And wives, because circumstances are going to be different. One wife will remember certain things, the other will remember certain things, certain different occurrences will happen. Not everything is going to happen just with one wife, and everything is going to come forward from one wife. And we find from the hadith as well. So many hadiths in Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, but there's so many things that she says to somebody asked in Aisha with regards to when she was asked with regards to the salah after Asr, she says, what? Go to Masala and ask her with regard. Because it transpired at her home. So certain events transpired at one home, and certain other in another home. And it is through these as well mutaharat that we get to learn so much. We don't have the time now, but in actual fact, if we were to take an analyze all the marriages of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and we will find the various either deedy or political or dunyawi or whatever purposes and benefits there were in those marriages that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had done. Not all of them were just for the sake of marrying having more wives. Your real son. But Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got married to the ex-wife of Sayyidina Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu ta'ala anha to stamp on it, to practically show that look, this is what the ruling of Allah Ta'ala is. وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ قَدْرًا مَقْدُورًا. Allah Ta'ala's command is a decreed affair, and that none has the right to object to the commands of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and as I mentioned, between Sunnat Allahi fil ladhina khalaw min qabl. The Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, since Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam had 100 wives. Since Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, one day it mentioned that he has 300 wives. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala had allowed that to them. So for Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to have more than 4 wives, this is nothing wrong in that at all. And this is the practice of Allah Ta'ala amongst those Anbiya who passed before Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And what was their task? الَّذِينَ يُبَلِّغُونَ رِسَالَاتِ اللَّهِ. That they were not here in the dunya just to enjoy their lives, but they are those who propagate Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's messages. And not only that, but وَيَخْشَوْنَهُ, who fear Him. And وَلَا يَخْشَوْنَ أَحَدًا إِلَّا اللَّهِ, and they fear none but Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Meaning, when fulfilling Allah Ta'ala's commands, they have no concern of the criticism from the people. No fear with regard to the criticism of people when it comes to the propagation of the commands of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ حَسِيبًا. Allah Ta'ala suffices as one who takes reckoning. Hasib, one who takes reckoning. Meaning it is only Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala people have to answer to on the day of Qiyamah, and not to others. And then when that is the case, then why be worried and concerned about others? Because on the day of Qiyamah, you're not going to have to reckon to anybody else at all. You're not going to have to reply to anybody else at all with regards to why you adopted deen in your life. Why did you stay away from various customs and norms? Why did you stay away from various ma'asiyat and that? Why worry about people for? You're not going to have to answer to them on the day of Qiyamah. It is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam are those who lay down the precedents. They are the ones who left behind the example of how they feared nobody at all when he came in fulfilling the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence Allah ta'ala says, look, they were not those who were just there to fulfill their desires, and that the person may think there will be so many wives and that, no. But there were those who الَّذِينَ يُبَلِّغُونَ رِسَالَاتِ اللَّهِ. They are those who propagated the message of Allah ta'ala. So that is what the work that they were doing. And not only that, but وَيَخْشَوْنَهُ. They feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than anybody else. In that as well, they fulfilled what? The hukuk and the rights of the wives as well. So when they had such, for Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam should taunt Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on the number of wives that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had. And as I mentioned to you, that they were not just the Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, besides I.T.A radiallahu ta'ala, who was one who had never married before. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, all the other wives, none of them were those who were young, or where there was some, just for the sake of gratification or so. They were all reasons and hikmah between why Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had got married to them. And all of them were what? They were those who had already been previously married as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the understanding. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.